Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of the Gamescom LOL Challenge. It's been a bit of a long road, but we're really getting near to the end now. We have 2 more matchups, one of which is a best of 3, so it'll take a little bit longer than the rest of the tournament. But certainly, right up first, we have the Consolation Final, which will be deciding 3rd place, but will also enable the winner of which to go on to the Grand Final to face up against H2K. It's SK Prime versus Ninjas in Pajamas in this game. How are you feeling, Blood Penguin?
Honestly, neither.
Yes, it's Penguin.
Yes, it's
I always get
Penguin.
confused whether you're Blood Penguin or Blood Panda.
Blood Panda.
I'd rather be a Blood Panda. It's much more fearsome.
Fearsome, true.
Although penguins in New Super Mario Bros. Are death.
Yes, they really, really are. We should have a new Super Mario Bros. Game. That'd be a cool tournament. I don't know if it would work very
I don't
well.
think it really adapts
yeah.
to a tournament format. I think there is a versus mode, isn't it?
There is, actually,
It's
yes.
not very good.
But let's get back to League of Legends, the game we are playing
Ninjas in
today.
Pajamas.
Honestly, neither team has impressed me very much so. SK Prime very much lacking something yesterday against H2K when they kind of lost the winners bracket final. Ninjas in Pajamas working with a saturated lineup. You know, they have got 2 subs in instead of Istari and I'm So Fresh. And they've really kind of lacked a kind of like looking like they're a well-gelled team. And that's understandable. You are playing with 2 subs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of, they've won games nearly purely on raw talent and good decision-making. They haven't really come out of these games looking like an amazingly dominant team. They've looked more kind of, our players are better than yours.
They literally just won off of raw talent. And I have to say, I really love the way Freeze has been playing for NIP. He's done a lot to make sure they don't drop out, because they are very often they are behind at the 30-minute, the 40-minute mark. Freeze then positions himself perfectly in a team fight, cleans it up, carries the game, and they end up winning just off of the fact they never lose team fights. But that will not work against H2K or SK Prime.
No.
However, SK Prime, as you say, not the best performance yesterday. Everyone can have one duff game, though, and they definitely rolled their way through absolutely everybody else in the tournament.
Yes, they definitely did show a bit more kind of talent and kind of LCS kind of, or Challenger Series, I should say, prowess in their previous games. But we've come to, like, especially with the series with H2K and SK Prime, we've seen it in previous matchups that either one team snowballs it to a win or the other team snowballs it to a win. There hasn't really been a very close game where both teams play exceptionally well, where there's just a great outplay and that wins the game. So you never know if they win today, which honestly, going against Ninjas Pajamas lineup, they have beaten them already in this tournament. I would imagine that they would beat them again.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too surprising to see. Ninjas in Pajamas, of course, the subs. That can be an issue for you. And the basic fact of the matter is that it isn't an excuse. The tournament will not care whether you are running with your full strength or not. You will lose and then you will drop out. Well, of course, they have already secured at least 3rd place, which I believe does earn them some prize money. But
It's significantly different, though, from
the big
first.
prize is quite significantly larger. I think it's a $7,000?
$7,500 for the winner. I'm pretty sure it's a $10,000 prize pool, which is pretty damn big for pretty much a Gamescom tournament, double elimination. So a lot to play for all these teams. H2K, though, still looking like heavy favorites to come out on top of these.
Yeah, so far. We'll see. It's going to be a little bit interesting. Of course, right now we are waiting for the players to get into the lobby, which is a phrase I may have used 1 or 2 times in the past. And I dare say Freeze will have to detach himself from his fangirls before we can begin. 7 people in the lobby at the moment.
So we're nearly there.
I believe we had 2 when we went live, so, so the number is increasing.
Significant improvement.
Shout-outs to Power of Evil, #1, always first in the lobby.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
He is very, very good about that.
Yeah, but while we're waiting, we can just look at the brackets here. We can see the kind of the progression as we were talking about through the tournament. We do see Ninjas Pajamas did go against SK Prime in the winners bracket semi-final. They went against Spuddington twice, though, as well, beating them both times. They went against Asuba yesterday as well. Again, none of these games were incredibly impressive from Ninjas in Pajamas, but as we said, they just won them purely because of their Ninjas in Pajamas. They have got the players, they've got the coordination to a certain degree, and they just made better calls. Yeah. SK Prime, on the other hand, pretty much walked through playing Ducks. Ninjas Pajamas with the saturated lineup didn't really give them much of a challenge. It was only yesterday that we really saw them struggle
And they struggled hard.
Yes, they struggled very, very hard against H2K. That kind of matchup has always been kind of who wins picks and bans, and it's very, very snowballing, as we said at the start. But you never know. I always say that's said this about 50 times now at the stage. When it's a best of one, you can pull out a different kind of strategy that may work out for you. You know,
it just makes the whole game a lot more volatile.
Yes, it makes it an awful lot more open to change, and to people just getting caught out by a particular strat. You know, the one-trick pony that you may pull out. As I say, it's only a one-trick pony. It only works once, but if it gets you to the grand final and that second place with the prize money is significantly more than third, I think it's about $2,000 for second place, which is, I think it's $500 or so for third. It's much, much better for them to get that second place than it is for third. So a lot on the line for these teams.
Yeah, I suspect we'll be seeing SK Prime playing it fairly standard. They won't want to risk everything on some unconventional strategy, but I could definitely see the incentive for Ninjas in Pajamas to run something unusual. They do have the players with the talent to close out a game if they get a lead. Although, in some of their games, they have looked a little bit directionless, and they end up only really doing something in the very, very ending of the game.
Yeah.
Start to push it out.
I think as well, though, like the standout player for both teams in terms of Ninjas in Pajamas and SK Prime has been Freeze for Ninjas in Pajamas. He's played exceptionally well. He has pretty much carried his team through these kind of stages of the tournament. And for SK Prime, it has to be Power of Evil. He has been phenomenal with these shockwaves, and it's just been unfortunate. We saw him yesterday. He made some amazing 3 or 4 man shockwaves. It was just unfortunate. His team weren't quite on the right page. They weren't really there to catch up and to run with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one classic example yesterday where he held onto his shockwave, Power of Evil. He was being Twisted Fate ganked. Held onto his shockwave, got the dissonance down, slowed his opponent, which was his actual opposite number in Forbidden, who was chasing after him, and then he actually saved the QW shockwave for the second time Forbidden sort of went for him. He ghosted, he caught him again, and that actually prevented him from dying once. But then the next time that happened, exact same scenario, he saved the shockwave, and on the second one, Forbidden then actually just flashed out of the shockwave. There was literally nothing he could do, in spite of how well Power of Evil actually played the situation. He was very optimal just in how he was playing, but it didn't matter. He still died. His team still lost. They did not have the gumption to really go for it there.
Forbidden's Twisted Fate has been phenomenal in this tournament. We've only seen it twice. We don't know about the in-faculty game. Or no, we do know about the in-faculty game. We don't know about the first game.
Yes.
It's been absolutely crazy how well he's done on that. The roaming, the destinies have just been absolutely spot on. I think we saw one game against in-faculty where he was just bullying the Alistair top lane, just watching for the overextension, waiting for his moment, and just every single time. I think it happened about 3 times in a row where he just waited for the overextension, used the Destiny, every single time was off cooldown, and he got fed off that. Same again yesterday against SK Prime. He just used the Destiny, as well as the Shen, the Stan United.
Yeah, the double global comp.
Double global is very, very dangerous. You have to look out for it. I was kind of hoping for
It's back, baby.
It's back. I was hoping for Nocturne to maybe come in as well. Get a triple.
I think that's kind of overkill. Fun old fact, though, of course, is when double globals was popular, Nocturne actually came in as a niche pick, specifically to counter that strategy.
Oh, nice.
Since it enables you to respond to their teleports much more effectively, and also to restrict the vision that you get from Destiny, since it counts as an external source. So like wards, it gets blotted out by paranoia. So you might see it. It's a possibility if it looks like if H2K is looking to build that double global comp again. That being said, back in the day, I remember this would have actually been about when Copenhagen Wolves were still in the challenger scene. I remember talking to someone, can't remember who, but they said if you let Shen Twisted Fate through picks and bans, you lose. Obviously, they have been nerfed a little bit since then, so it's not
passive
quite the
was
same.
changed on Twisted Fate. No longer a global 2 extra gold.
that was always a bit.
That was the big thing,
good.
I think, with Twisted Fate. It didn't matter if you lost laning phase, and it didn't matter if you did horrifically badly in terms of kills. If you got no farm, that extra 2 gold kept stacking up. It was quite a good advantage for your team.
Yeah,
It's more selfish now.
Yes,
Yeah,
you still get
selfish.
extra gold.
Oh, you
It's
do.
nice to do. Yes, but who cares about anyone else anyway?
Yeah, but it makes it a lot easier for you to snowball a lane when you're able to, get that 2 extra gold, or even 6 extra gold, even if you are behind. We are into picks and bans, though, with SK Prime on the blue side and Ninjas in Pajamas on the purple or red side, whichever you prefer. We are waiting for the first ban coming in from Smitty J, and Taking their time with this. There we go. There's the Fizz ban.
Okay, interesting choice there, going with the Fizz ban. Obviously, this is, again, targeted against his Starry. He's very, very good on Fizz. And that's why we haven't seen it in this entire tournament. Because he's so good on it, everybody bans it out against him. They all know him from solo queue, I assume, which is one of the issues with not necessarily being a one-trick pony, but being a specialist on that one champion.
I think as well, Fizz is one of those kind of solo queue champions that transitions very nicely into a team because he wants to be just getting the solo pickoffs. He's not looking to be team fighting that much. He can team fight very, very well. He has got a bit of AoE with his troll pole. But he's definitely looking for the single kind of target, find someone overextended, kill them with the Chum the Waters and the Trident's, I think it's Trident Ascent? I'm not quite sure. His Q.
His Q is Urchin Strike.
Urchin Strike. I don't know why I said Trident.
I have no idea either.
Yeah,
he does hit you with a Trident, though.
He does hit you with a Trident. But we do see the Nunu, Lucian, and Syndra banned out. I'm So Fresh being targeted out as well. They're really just making sure Ninjas in Pajamas, especially the subs, just aren't getting their comfort picks as well as in Italy.
That's the basic strategy here from SK Prime. Ban out the things that are likely to be able to solo carry a game, rely on your superior team fighting, rely on your superior team play to carry you through. So...
interesting thing, Maokai, Alistair, Zerath, Cassidy, Oriana.
They left the Maokai.
They also left Kog'Maw and Cassidy. I would not be surprised if they went with a Kog'Maw Cassidy in these first two picks. You can run a very, very strong comp with those two picks.
The only weakness with doing that right now is it shifts their power curve very heavily towards that late game. Towards that mid game when Cassidy maybe starts to get a little more threatening. So Cassidy is still open, and SK Prime can pick that out for the power of evil. But certainly getting themselves that bot lane in order to make sure that Freeze does well, who has been their star player, I think I do like that strategy. Yeah,
they do lock in the Nami and the Kog'Maw. That bot lane will be very, very fearsome. Freeze, as we said before, has been phenomenal on Kog'Maw, and just as the general role of AD carry for Ninjas in Pajamas. We do see the kind of the general pick into a Kog'Maw, though, once Lucian is banned, is Corki Jarvan being picked up as well. So they're not buying into the mid lane pick as of yet. I imagine, though, with Zerath left open, Power of Evil really would want to get onto that champion.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine a pick that can really take out a Zerath in lane apart from Fizz. And obviously, he is not available. I wouldn't necessarily want to play Zerath into Cassidy. I don't think you'd be able to bully him out hard enough, early enough, but there are very few champions that can.
I think as well, if Ninjas in Pajamas are smart, they'll pick their top laner. I imagine it'll be Alistair at this point of the game. With picks and bans going the way they are.
Performing that well, though.
No, he hasn't really, but there's very, very few picks you can go into. Mundo would work rather well against Maokai. And they might leave their mid lane pick to the very, very last. They are hovering over Lee Sin. There's the Alistair, as we were talking about.
Yeah.
But I do see a ghost on a Starry. That might indicate that he might be going for Twisted Fate.
That wouldn't be too surprising here. We'll see. SK Prime, they're being forced into their mid lane pick now. Starry is Twisted Fate. Not a champion I think we've seen him play so far.
No, he hasn't played just yet, but
that's not ideal.
No, someone left the lobby. So fortunate there. Yeah, might have been someone from SK Prime. Not quite sure what's going on there. Hopefully we can figure it out. Same picks and bans, obviously.
Yep.
Considering we know exactly what they went in with.
Yes.
But it's very, very interesting. They left mid lane open. They have to pick their support now. I imagine it will be something like a Morgana or maybe even a Thresh, just to kind of keep a generally good support versus the high utility of Nami. But their mid lane, not knowing what they're going into, Zerath might be a little bit risky despite how good Power of Evil is on that champion.
It's true. Zerath also wouldn't necessarily fit with the composition. I have a goldfish memory for the record, guys, so if I get any picks wrong right now, then
Maokai, Jarvan, Corki on SK Prime, and then you have Kog'Maw, Nami, Lee Sin, and Alistair on the side of Ninjas.
Very good, I was just testing you. So picking a Zerath right now for SK Prime would potentially be a very solid choice for them. But do they want to look for that do they want to look for a more sustained damage source. Obviously, same picks, same bands right now, so just going to cycle through
quickly
all of
get
that.
through all these. Hopefully we get back to Ziz and Zaitan, who they pick up for mid. But as you were saying,
I think the Xerath pick could actually work for them pretty well looking at it now, because they have a very strong front line. The Corki pick might lack damage in the late game, but Xerath is also quite a scary late game champion. So with that lockup, it would give them pretty good sieging as well, since they have the potential to apply that pressure with the Maokai, teleport down, go for engages under towers.
Ziggs mightn't be a bad pickup.
No,
it would work very, very
flexible.
well. There's the Thresh, as I was talking about. But again, Zaitan very, very strong with that Thresh. He's very, very good. That is he's becoming very, very known for his Thresh. You see them cycling through the C's, the B's.
Much as I'd like to see the Cho'Gath, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, Cho'Gath mid was a thing for a little bit, I think, in Season 2.
Yeah, Cho'Gath mid actually does have phenomenally strong damage. He has exceptionally high base damage, and he has very good AP ratios as well on all these AoE skills. He can 100-0 you and also has huge amounts of CC, but because he needs to close into melee range to use his E and his R, he tends to suffer.
And he has a giant hitbox once he gets 6 stacks.
Well, I mean, that is, I guess the theory is you just don't die at that point because you've got 600 extra health or whatever it is, which is quite a lot of free stats. That's I want to say that's over 1,000 gold worth of free stats.
I would agree with that, but we do see Ari and Thresh being locked in. They hovered over the Kassadin for a second. They might be trying to bait this out. They might be trying to call out Ninja's Pajamas saying, we know how to play against a Kassadin. We no worries about it. We're going to leave it right open. It got through all the picks right down to the end because no one really wants to pick into it just in case. But will they take the bait?
Yeah, it's
Kassadin is by no way a bad pickup, even if you are being baited into it. It's a very, very strong pickup.
This is Kassadin isn't so much as anymore as he used to be. He used to be that champion that everyone was like, we've got a new counter for him. Didn't work, and then he would get a kill.
He was the Maokai of
so he would snowball off of those 1 or 2 kills, but he does need a bit of time to get going now, no matter what happens, even if he does well early. Well, they are going to lock it in. A Twisted Fate pick there, though, could have actually still been a very solid one against Ari.
I think the Kassadin was probably too tempting because with the Cogma, it gives you incredible late game. It just gives
not quite as safe, though.
Yeah, it's not quite as safe as a Twisted Fate. It does give you quite a bit to do. They are running the double teleport, though, so that's going to be something that SK Prime are going to have to keep tabs of. Normally, it's a little bit easier to kind of keep tab of one teleport, but when things start stacking up, like 2 teleports, a Zonya's, or an ultimate from Alistair or something like that, when you're trying to keep timers and all these very, very big things for team fights, things start to get a little bit muddied and it can cause a couple of mistakes.
In an ideal world, of course, you will track every single summoner.
Yeah.
That includes flashes. And that does actually dictate. It's something that I'm pretty sure not everyone does, and fair enough, it does take a very large amount of effort to do. But you can see the value of it when you see players go for an all-in and it fails because the enemy has flash.
Yeah.
You can actually lose your entire team off of a bad initiation like that. So you really should try and consider all the possible factors, but the amount of cognitive awareness required to do that in a pressured situation, in a proper team fight situation, or even if you're just playing poke and footsies, then it really does put a strain on a player. Still, who's going to be the next Mad Life, I wonder?
I wonder. Do you know what I would like to see, though? That you could teleport to a Maokai sapling. Because you can teleport to the seedlings from Zyra. You can teleport to the flagpole from Jarvan.
It's true. You can actually teleport to the seeds themselves from Zyra. You don't need the plants.
You don't actually need the plants.
No.
There
so you can actually do it instantly. Zyra, Lee Sin, bot lane. You can jump to the lantern as well.
That's true, actually. I have seen that, and it's come for some very, very good plays. But unfortunately, Lee Sin, on the opposite team of the Thresh, we're not going to be seeing some crazy insect Lee Sin and Mad Life Thresh plays from the two of them, but they might be on the opposite sides.
I have noticed something about Thresh, though, which is slightly annoying. Because have you ever done the thing where you try to click on the enemy lantern?
Yes.
Yes. The reason you do that is because it still changes your cursor.
Does it?
Yes, it does. It still changes it to the icon that they originally made for the Dominion capture points.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a bit weird if you think about it.
It'd be very cool if you could screw up a lantern save by just running into Thresh.
If this was Dota, I reckon
was
Thresh's
totally-
Lantern would be takeable by the enemy.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing they like to run with. Really crazy stuff.
I also, yeah, Dota's one of those games. I know there's one champion that the less health he has, the faster he goes. And I think at one point you can run around the entire map in 6 seconds.
Wow.
It's like something crazy absurd. Like it's
They have a ton of really bizarre. I mean, you think Twisted Fate is bad. There's a character that can teleport himself and another character to somewhere else on the map. Which is great for teleporting your teammates into the enemy spawn if they are trolling. But regardless, this is League of Legends, and we are into game now. NIP versus SK Prime. If you're just joining us, this is the consolation final, which is slightly misnomerish because they are going to be going. The winner of this best of one will be going to the grand final. The loser will though be stuck in 3rd place overall. We are underway now. We'll see. If anyone goes for anything funky at level 1, NIP, historically so far in this tournament, have been doing it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Ooh, there we go. Kigus, I'm so fresh. This is a little bit dangerous. He loses that trade. I got a vision of him going back. That was very, very strange. And
Bizarrely aggressive.
very, very aggressive. But the thing is with Jarvan versus Elise Sin is... Oh, very nicely done. The sapling gonna stop. I'm so fresh. There's another pause. But just on my further point is the difference between the great thing about going Jarvan against a Lee Sin is with the early passive damage from Jarvan, it means that Lee Sin has a very, very tough time without trading him in the early levels, despite Lee Sin being seen as the big early game jungler. He can't get as much of an advantage by 1v1ing him, and if Jarvan can delay him with a knock-up and his shields long enough, it means that a laner can come in and punish Lee Sin for invading. So something I'm so fresh needs to be very, very aware of.
Yeah, there was actually a tweet by Broken Shard a decent while ago where he said something he's obviously a Lee Sin player, so he's a bit biased, but he said something along the lines of people need to stop being so afraid of the Lee Sin early game. Because outside of that initial burst that he has from the double Q and the difficulty of trading with his attack speed that isn't attack speed slow, which isn't there anymore. Yeah, he isn't actually that strong of a duelist. And he also said he has some bad matchups, naming Jarvan the 4th specifically. The other thing though about that little trade we saw from I'm So Fresh is, I feel like if you're going to play the game of League of Legends and play it as smart as you can, you need to consider your actions in terms of the possible outcomes. In that scenario, I'm So Fresh was alone. There was no support. He did not know where the enemy team were other than the man he was jumping to. There is a possibility, therefore, that he could get charmed. There is a possibility there was the entire team there and they were going for an invade. Yeah. And he still went in. The only possible positive outcome there for him was like somehow the entire rest of the enemy team was way off on the rest of the map. And he could get the flash, maybe. And
now he does, well, kind of a small win for him. He does know what they took level 1, but it was never really much of a question, really, with Jarvan and Maokai. They're always going to take the saplings. They're always going to take the flag. Honestly...
Didn't assess the outcomes.
No, he didn't assess the outcomes. It was very... for lack of a better word, very stupid. Because if there had been an invade from SK Prime, they haven't got a bad level 1. Not a great one. If they had got a Thresh hook, it wouldn't have been too bad. But again, it was
basically just an unnecessary risk.
Yes, very, very much an unnecessary, very solo queue-esque. You know, just.
I mean, I can imagine it being his style.
Yes,
a lot of players that play a lot of solo queue do tend to get quite silly sometimes, quite aggressive. I suspect he would have known at the time that it wasn't the best move he could have made, but odd to see that mindset translating into a tournament setting. Hopefully, we'll get underway.
Yeah, hopefully we can get back into this game. I hear a lot of movement in the chat.
Yes.
I can hear the tick. Yeah. But again, I think we're going to be coming back very soon now. I think they're just sorting out whatever the problem was. And again, level 1, or early levels, level 3 probably the better way to put it now, as we've just seen our level 1. Level 3, I'm expecting Lee Sin to try and get Cassidy going, maybe go down bot to try and get the Kog'Maw going. I don't imagine him trying to go anything against Maokai because it's very, very difficult to even try and get something with the Twisted Advance, with the Arcane Smash, just so much kind of small CCs. It's just very hard to lock him down.
Yeah, it's doubly hard against Maokai as Lee Sin, of course, because Lee Sin, all of his skills tick twice, which for the purposes of the Maokai passive means he gets more heals off more quickly, which can actually be really tricky. And I think that's actually something that people forget about Maokai in team fights. Is every single time he auto-attacks, basically, because there's so many spells going off in every single direction, almost every single time he auto-attacks, he's going to restore 7%, 8%?
7%, I'm pretty sure.
Of his max health every single time. And by the stage team fights are happening, that is a lot of health. He restores a couple of 100 health per hit, and it's happening all that time. So you really need to watch out for Maokai's sustain throughout a long team fight. Freeze. Making jokes happen.
Yep, the AD carry is just going to stay just out of range of each other.
You see, Freeze's taunting there. That's perfectly safe.
Yeah.
Because Boydle would cover if Zytone was sneaking around. Wow.
This is some hard ass. Actually, Zaitan really looking to see. I think they got a little bit of an inkling that he was coming around. Voidal did do a little bit of a trade damage with him.
Freeze doesn't have the sorry, Zytan there doesn't have the best spammable jokes.
No.
Thresh is I think he's got good voice acting, but the best spammable emote in the game for me, at least, is probably Rumble's taunt, because he bounces into the air and he comes back down really, really fast. Because obviously.
What about the Nami? You know, just like randomly throwing.
Oh, that's a pretty good. Yeah, spam the laugh.
Yes.
You really have to go fast though to make it look maximally stupid. Speaking of Nami, she's taking a W level 1, so they probably don't want to engage too hard.
Going to be able to trade back pretty nicely though. Corky has got a little bit of burst in the early game. It's going to be hard for Zaitan to last hit. Obviously, he doesn't get the passive from Targon's Brace or the Relic Shield. Targon's Brace being the upgrade.
No.
He doesn't get the 200 damage execute, which makes it a little bit harder. He can't use the Flay passive though. It does help him.
It's not too hard to ensure the last hits. The trick is ensuring the last hits and using that play passive up at a time when it's not going to cause problems for either you, because you won't have the play passive to trade with, or for your AD carry because they're trying to last hit. And Kikis is hello.
Kikis, what are you doing? You need to get out of there pretty quickly there. They know he was sitting there. That was a strange invade. It looked like he was trying to go for a level 2 dive on Castle.
Really did, which is puzzling to say the least. And I'm so fresh is actually over to the Wraith camp. If he saw Jarvan, and I believe he did, then he knows he doesn't have the blue buff, which means he knows it hasn't been taken, which means if he times it now from Wraith to blue, he may have the option to try and go for the steal and possibly the kill on Kikis.
Yeah, so we do see him
He's
wandering over towards that Jarvan there as well.
Fresh.
They are going to try find each other. I know exactly what Kikis was trying to do, though, right? He didn't take his blue buff, but Lee Sin also didn't take Wraiths, which meant that he was quicker to his own blue buff. But Jarvan was trying to catch him in the transition between Wraiths and blue buff, or Wolves and blue buff. That's what he was trying to do. Trying to catch him at that level 2, because he knows he's stronger if he can get that knock up. He knows he can get a little bit more damage trade back. But it will be a lot harder now for Jarvan to. He's going to wait though for a few seconds for that ward. The ward, times out. But right now, SK Prime trying some new things. But I don't think it's really going to catch Ninja Pajamas out.
No, at the moment, both of the junglers' efforts to kill each other have petered out, and that's probably going to mean no one will want to catch up on levels for a second or two. That being said, passed by a ward. Good tracking of the jungler there from both teams.
Yeah, good kind of knowledge of where they're all going to be. And you see actually Cassidy chugging through his pots pretty hard there. Voidal going to get caught up there by a Prospect Bomb and a hook. Not necessarily in that order. He's going to be able to sustain that up pretty damn easily. And Kog'Maw is just so good at the moment. Right? He like when you ban Lucian and you know you can pick him. Yes, Maokai is a strong laner, of course, but he just there's so few AD carries that can deal with a Kog'Maw. It's very, very hard for Corki to do anything about it. It's very, very difficult for a Tristana before she hits the super late game to do anything about it. And he just, because his percentage health on minions, even though they obviously keep scaling their health, that doesn't cap with minions. He can still get the percentage health damage onto them. So it just means his wave clear is just so much better than most AD carries.
Yeah, I'd say, assuming Lucian is not on the table, I'd say at present in the current meta with the current champions on 4.13 attach, allowing the Kog'Maw Nami pick through, double pick, is really just accepting that Kog'Maw will get through the lane pretty well. Kickis setting up, but good. No, good.
No, very, very tricky. Lee Sin is not having a good time against this Jarvan right now. He really wants to try and get a bit of early game dominance, and as he said, Broken Shard being one of the most outspoken people about this, that he doesn't have a great dueling early game, and it's very difficult for him to do anything right now. As we do see Smitty J and Cowboy Shard just going, wet noodle fight. See if they can go with anything else, but pretty standard size. We see Kikis invading the enemy blue or enemy jungle. He knows he's safe. There's no way Lee Sin can fight him 1v1.
It's true. He'd have to have used all of his skills already at the exact moment Lee Sin finds him for it to be even a vague threat. But right now, notice the jungle path that Kikis took. He bypassed that Tri-Brush ward. A lot of damage from these golems. He's actually just going to peace out. But Alistar had stayed in there. And obviously, Maokai will have called that he hadn't. He could have potentially looked to go for that dive. Would have been worth it even if he died, as long as Alistar didn't have ult.
Alistar did have ult, and I think that's why he backed off. He did not want to try and dive something there. Voidal going to get cut up by a hook. Nothing too crazy. Valkyrie away there from Ziz. Zaitan taking a little bit more punishment than he probably needs to.
He got the hook, that's the thing there. But that's the difficulty of dealing with Kog'Maw Nami. Normally against Nami, what you want to do is you catch out Nami, you burst it down very, very quickly. If you do that, Kog'Maw is putting out a lot of sustained damage on you. Even from an early stage of the game, he hits quite hard. If you catch Kog'Maw, that can work for you, but you are potentially setting yourself up for a bubble if you go in heavy, and they can usually disengage, sustain back up, all's well, and they can carry on poking you. As it was there, though, he got onto Nami, but they just couldn't win the trade. So he was forced to just back off and actually ended up losing overall, even though he was the one who landed the skill shot. So at least for now, it's going to be difficult times in that bot lane. Once they go back, pick up some items. With that Sheen now on talking, they may have the burst to start winning the trades, though.
We do see Lee Sin going to find Maokai though. He gets kicked away though, forces the flash, does get the Q back in. It's a good flash pulverize. I don't know if they'll be able to kill him. It's going to be very close though. Here it comes. It's going to be a first blood up to Lee Sin. Very nicely done. Nice Dragon's kick there from Lee Sin. Able to set that up, but it does mean that he is in the top lane, meaning that Jarvan going to be able to turn around, try get something there. That camera went a bit weird there. They might go for an early Dragon. And there it is.
Yep, here we go. There is no teleport available to try and contest this. Kassadin does have teleport, of course, but he's not going to seek to do that. They're just going to accept take that kill up top.
It only evens out the goal. This is an incredibly close matchup, and I'm seeing a lot more potential from Ninjas in Pajamas than I have seen from previous games in this tournament. They seem to have gotten themselves together on this final day because they're looking very, very strong. They're looking coordinated.
Well, I don't know. Like, at this point in time, this isn't the phase of the game where Ninjas in Pajamas have been looking weak. Their weakest point so far has been their mid-game. When the lanes break down and it's time to make those small skirmish engages happen, that's when they've had problems.
Yeah, ooh, nice juke there by Power of Evil. He's actually going to go back in onto this. They are going to see if they can trade it back, but if we do see the top lane going in, so Fresh going to get caught out, has to force the flash away. Not going to be the chase up onto that. Actually, Ari thinking about chase. It does back away though in the end. Zaitan taking a little bit of damage in the bot lane. You see more and more happening now. Actually has. Ooh, needs to be very, very careful. That hook just missing out. The freeze going to be okay.
They're so aggressive down there, but they are just winning out. It's really tough times for the Corki lane. You really need to take yourself a Lucian if you want to deal with Kog'Maw in lane these days. So you either pick a hyper carry yourself and try and outscale them, or scale similarly, in which case Kog'Maw will have the lane advantage and will try and bully you out, or you pick Lucian and bully him out. It's really the only options you have available to you.
Big CS lead though for Kog'Maw in that bot lane. Nearly 30 minions. That's pretty big. This Corki is not
going to get outscaled.
Yeah, he's going to get outscaled. He's on a timer, as we always say. And Kog'Maw's not bad in the mid game. He's not amazing, but he's not bad. If he builds the Triforce he built, which he looks like he is building with the Phage, is the only item it builds into. It's very, very difficult to see how Corki's going to be able to deal with this unless he catches Kog'Maw out very, very soon, gets a good burst down onto him. I don't really see him winning this matchup anytime soon.
It's not going to happen. He just cannot, at any stage, touch this Kog'Maw right now. Ziz Zaitan is a very, very good lane. They are skilled at playing almost every single matchup, but it just isn't plausible for them to win this one. So they're going to have to just accept it. They did, of course, get priority picks in order to... they did get priority picks such as the Jarvan, the Maokai, and the Ahri, and got themselves a decent mid-game setup from for their own bot lane in return for the Kog'Maw Nami. But they've got to make use of their solo lanes and just accept that they're going to be losing out a bit in this bot.
Very difficult to do so. SpinnyJ actually starting to outscale a little bit the Cabo Shard. Alistar finding it very difficult to deal with it. The one thing I find with Alistairs in the top lane, especially in our tournament, is that they seem to struggle to finish off that Triforce at a good time. They don't seem to be able to finish it all. They rush the Moby boots looking for the roam. Honestly, it shouldn't be too hard for Alistar, considering the lane matchup he's in, to finish off the Triforce roughly about the same time, or maybe even a bit before Cabo Shard does finish off the... Or not Cabo Shard, sorry. SpinnyJ finishes off the... Oh, no need to flag and drag. No need to flag and drag there, Kickus. I'll put you over the wall myself.
Yeah, take the Lee Sin Express.
We do see, ooh, the hook misses though. It's going to be a lot of burst in the freeze. Zaitan, or Ziz taking a lot of burst as well. Zaitan just get hit up by the Aqua Prison. Already is freeze. He hasn't even got back. He is sitting on quite a bit of gold, at least a sheen if he wants to go back and get it.
Doesn't need to.
Doesn't need to. He is out trading already.
He's out trading, and as well, he doesn't have to worry about teleport ganks right now. Even if there was a ward behind him, he's got his own teleport on his team to counter that, and they would be stronger in a 3-on-3. So it's a really bad situation for Corki and Teresh, and that's just the way it is right now. It's not something he can do anything about.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the teleport though from
too late.
From SK Prime. That's far too late. They do take out Zaitan under the tower. Jarvan just coming in, but they do lose mid tower though for that trade. They're trading kills, not trading back objectives. But that being said, they are still equal on gold. So once these kind of standing gold objectives do go down, it can result in quite a significant gold.
Yeah, the dominance of NIP right now is in that bottom lane is going to translate to dragon control as well. So they're looking good. Istari, yeah, he's falling a bit behind Power of Evil, but that's standard practice for Castlin. That's expected. They should control the next dragon. If they don't, that's a failure on NIP's part. Jarvan is a little bit more scary, of course, than Lee Sin, and this is a good time to set up a gank.
Ooh, freeze. Very, very nicely flash away there. He knew that he was in serious danger. Ahri was AFK from lane as well, or MIA, probably a better way to put it. Now, it has to burn both summoners though, and he won't have that for the next dragon fight in 30 seconds. He needs to go back now. Kog'Maw needs to spend his money so he has that spike for the dragon fight.
Yeah, that's definitely right, but he doesn't want to lose his farm at the same time. This is actually quite good control from SK Prime. The fact they stopped that recall is huge, and the fact that I'm So Fresh is now up top does mean if they get this kill, they don't need to worry about the lack of presence freeze as they can delay the enemy dragon.
Yeah, here they go. They're going to go in onto it. SpinnyJ does pop the ultimate now. He's trying to get it done. There's another one there. They do get the kill onto Astari. That's a good move there. It does get Cabo Shard to tank that up. And So Fresh going to take 1 or 2 tower hits, but it's not too much. They are going to lose dragon. They have to trade a turret for this.
They're not going to lose dragon, though. That's the
oh,
thing.
wow.
Might get the inner tower going down, but there's not that many minions. It's a bit of damage. So we'll see.
They are going to get it.
They're going to get it. Wow, okay. Fair play to them.
And they might get dragon as well. They haven't left this top lane. The Cabo Shard and the Astari are still up there. This could be a really, really good play by SK Prime.
Freeze still hadn't recalled there, so overcommitment by NIP going for the top lane. Yeah, they killed Maokai, but yeah, they got his tower as well. And yeah, that releases Alistar, but not a good trade in terms of the objectives they gain from their choices here. SK Prime Looking good. Once again, 1k advantage now. With Freeze still looking very, very strong in this bot lane, but now a lot more susceptible to ganks. The mid laners will be roaming, and Kassadin is still not as strong as Ari.
There is so much room right now for Power of Evil to roam around to get. He has got an entire lane, pretty much. Like, it'd be slightly different if he had have lost, if Kassadin had have lost the one tower, transitioning into maybe, you know, a dragon or something like that. That's not too bad. He can keep up with that. But Ari can push the wave very, very well, get some deep wards down into the enemy jungle as well, knowing where everyone is. It's going to be exceptionally hard now for Kassadin to keep up with Ari's roam, and she's already 30 CS ahead. Well, with the 20 CS average of a kill added on, it's only about 10, but the global objective's definitely going in favor of SK Prime.
So one of the subtle things about Kassadin, he's very quick to get across the map, right? And there's two key things that enable really good roamers. Being, okay, there's three maybe good things. One of them is having good crowd control, and Kassadin does do that. There's another thing though, which is wave clear, which Kassadin is not that good at this stage of the game, and Ari is. Ari will clear much, much quicker than Kassadin. So even though she's slower to get across the map, when she arrives, she's equally or more potent than Kassadin, so she's got hard CC, and she has more blinks in the short time where you're likely to be doing the actual killing of your opponent. Freeze, though, in trouble.
Freeze just gets caught out. That's a good hook, but here comes the teleport from Alistair. Ziz actually does focus with the Kog'Maw does go down, but he trades it back to Corki. Nicely done. They are going to try and jump on the side, and here comes the teleport, though, from Maokai. They are going to keep going onto this. Camelchat, they might try to just disengage this. Here comes Garmin from the side. They are trying to keep going this. It's a very, very sloppy fight. Astari will get the one. They might get Kickers. They do. Camelchat gets that one there. Power of Evil was just too slow to the party. They do catch up Camelchat in the double CC there. He does lose his ult there in the last second. He has to back away. Spirit Rush, not going to be enough. I don't even think they can take this tower, but nice roam there from Ninja's Pajamas. They traded 2 for 1.
Yeah, the double teleport coming to fruition there. They had more men down there earlier, so even though it was a dive on Freeze and they did manage to burst him out early on, they do come out with the advantage from that fight. I've got to say, although I'm still not necessarily entirely happy with their objective control and their, their prioritization, their actual fighting has still been very, very good. I hesitate to call that a full team fight, but I guess it was a full team fight. It was just very broken up in how everyone joined.
Eventually
yeah.
became a full team fight.
It was sort of a small team that became a big team fight.
Yes.
Sabotage's pretty squishy without the ult.
Yeah, he's got a Triforce though, and I have said that it was something I've noticed about Alistair, that they weren't building that Triforce early enough. But he has got it now. Starry with the Rod of Ages. I do see Kog'Maw starting to scale up now. He's got just finished off his boots there. He hadn't got boots beforehand, so that's going to help him with kiting. Be able to run away faster, as he has no escape. Let's call it Void Ooze, a slow more so than an escape.
Well, Kog'Maw, assuming you have to walk over the entirety of the Void Ooze, is phenomenally good.
Wow, I did not even know. I'm so fresh. He's going to get caught out there. He has to flash away. He does get over. He does get caught out, though, by Kickers. They will trade it back, though. Honestly, that was just... it just shows you how far ahead Freeze is right now. He just annihilated Corki.
Yeah, so much damage that comes out of him from the Triforce now. And, yeah, it was very good play from Zaitan to catch out I'm So Fresh there. Just caught him off guard with a sudden hook, because he did that old trick where you're walking somewhere else and then you just turn on a dime and throw the hook out, which did get the catch. Charge shouldn't be caught here. They know that's coming. They know Ari is up there. Curious about the tower HP. Pretty good, actually. So there's really no prospect here for SK Prime.
A lot of focus, though. Nami, Lee Sin, and Kassadin all coming up towards the top lane. SmittyJ is very extended. If this turns into a 4v2, they won't be able to win this.
I'm not sure NIP is necessarily... Maybe they can catch out Maokai with Kassadin here, but I think they're not assessing what the opponent is likely to be doing in that scenario. There was no prospect for SK Prime to kill Alistair under tower once he had retreated. So sending up 4 people to try and counter a gank that isn't going to happen seems like an overcommitment to my mind. But
They seem to be very confident in Freeze's ability to be able to do this 2v1, and honestly, he's doing it very, very well. He's only got a 2v2 now. They are going to catch out Zaitan. Now here comes the bubble. It's a good exhaust on the Ziz as well. Zaitan is going to go down. They are trying to jump on the corner. Good box though, because they disengage. Freeze is getting big.
He's big. He's bad. Actually, pretty good, but he's hugely strong right now, and that can be a big problem. Sorry.
Oh, we're going to go for my camera skills, trying to fix them over there. Power Beetle did miss the charm though. They are going to see a dive in the bot lane. Actually didn't get to catch that though. I'm So Fresh did get behind him, uses the Dragon's Kick, gets him back on the turret. It's another kill over to Lee Sin. Dragon up in 25 seconds. They may be able to get a Dragon and a tower from this. This is all of a sudden looking very, very good for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, this... I said it last time, in fairness, but this should be their dragon to take. They've even got the TP advantage, so Maokai is committed down there. Capital actually wants to back, does seem to need to shop. He hasn't been in a little while, but I can't imagine he's got that much gold. If Freeze gets caught, though, this ruins them.
This does ruin them. They actually get the flash out of Power of Evil. He doesn't land the charm, though. They do kill out Voidal, but here comes the TP in from Alistair. There's goes Callum.
Oh,
he misses the pulverize. He misses all of his concentration. He didn't know which one to go for. He's going to try to jump on the Zaitan. It's too little too late, but he drops out Astari. Astari needs to be so careful. He can't really walk away. He tried. There it is. They are going to take out Jarvan in the end. Tresh goes out as well. This could be going very, very well at the moment. They have to turn to Maokai, though. Spinny J is very, very tanky. Voidal, Freeze does go down, though. In the end, they are trying to turn this back on. Maokai goes down. They're trying to turn it back. Ari goes down. Here comes Ziz, though. His could be a big, big trade back. He's not going to be able to chase down, though. In the end, it is a 4-for-3. Ninjas in Pajamas coming out on top. And wow, that was again another late to the party fight happening, and very big trade backs.
If Cabochard had landed that pulverize on 3, that fight would have gone much more heavily in NIP's favor. They would have gotten the dragon undoubtedly. As it is, though, they still come out okay. They get the kill advantage, but that was only due to Freeze being quite smart. Normally in that situation, as a Kog'Maw on that low health, he would have been wise to recall, be there for the next dragon fight. As it was, he actually re-engaged with the rest of his team and relied on them to keep him alive, knowing that a lot of cooldowns had already been blown. Dragon being started up by SK Prime, and Ninjas in Pajamas don't even seem to be...
No, they're not
trying.
They are trying. I think Lee Sin was just in the wrong position there. At the wrong time. Cabochard going to try to come in on the side now. Actually, Zaitan getting caught out by Astari. They're going to try to throw the hook out. It's not going to catch. Here comes the tidal wave. He has to force the flash. It forces the Spirit Rush as well. Astari is in the middle of the fight. He needs not to be there. It's a great flash into Cabochard. He used the pulverize. He's going to go in with his ultimate running as well. They do pick up a kill. Can they pick up anything else? There is a little bit of a minion wave as well. Don't go for rates. What are you doing? You need to go for the mid lane. They aren't able to go for it. Freeze actually going to trade back with Ziz. Needs to be careful. Why are you still going for rates?
Lifesteal. I think he is actually legitimately trying to get himself some health back there. He gets himself a 40 gold. Worth it. So, big wave hitting top tower. That's going to go to waste, I suspect. NIP, unless he can land like a bubble here.
Oh, that's a great bubble there on the Power of Evil. He gets knocked down as well. They do use the Mikhail's Crucible onto I'm So Fresh. He gets out. Spinny J needs to back away as well. Castellan, they're doing this 1-3-1. They're winning this fight at the moment 1-3-1, and it's looking very, very scary. They haven't got objectives. Well, there they have. They just picked up bottom tower. They're looking a lot stronger than we've seen in this tournament.
Yeah, they are looking very, very good right now with Istari and Alistar pressuring both lanes, and Ziz Zaitan actually being very, very low on the mana front. They should be able to hold the mid tower 2-on-2.
Oh,
it's just poking around.
Ninjas in Pajamas should use this kind of distraction to try and get that mid tower. They are going to do that. Kog'Maw is staying around. They need to be careful, though. They need to secure that. Everybody going around for it. They actually have to use a smite on the Jarvan. That denies it from Corky and Ari, and they get the mid lane turret anyway.
Good call. Very smart play. So, Nip. I'm still not a 100% fan of their objective control so far, but that was good there. Very, very good indeed. And they are winning these fights. And they are also going to outscale their opponents. So SK Prime looking very much up against it.
Yeah, I think the problem was with the first time that SK Prime versus Ninja Pajamas, 4 Ninja Pajamas in this tournament, was it took Ninjas Pajamas too long to get big power spikes. They weren't able to build items onto their top lane, onto their AD carry like that, even though Freeze did do very well. Right now, Alistair is in a very, very good place. He actually picked up the Locket of the Iron Solari to give his team that added extra kind of a global, if you like, magic resistance. Lee Sin is picking up a nice bit of health and magic resistance. They have got the Zhonya's onto Cassin, and the Rod of Ages, I'm pretty sure is nearly fully stacked. Yep, it's fully stacked there. They have got the Blade of the Ruined King. They've got the Mikhails on Tsunami. They've got so many big items already. They're scaling very, very nicely, and they've got great kill participation between everybody on their team.
The issue I highlighted in Champions Select, where they may have put their power curve a little bit too late into the game, has not really arisen, in large part, again, thanks to Freeze and Voidal. The Cosmo Nami bot lane has really, again, been doing a lot of work. Kassadin's hanging around. Oh, I doubt he's going to try and solo kill Maokai, though, so...
He's pretty tanky.
Yeah, a bit tricky.
Especially with that
sustained damage source versus a tank.
Yeah.
Takes a while.
It would take a... If anything, it might go back in favor of Maokai.
The Spirit Visage, the amount of time it would take, yeah, no, he's not going to try that. Kassadin can always set up ganks for the rest of his team, though, of course. And continue to do the wave clear in the bottom lane and the top lane. Split the focus of SK Prime, who should really, right now, be looking to try and catch out Cogmore if they possibly can. He is the linchpin. He's positioning himself very, very well so far, though.
Unless Power of Evil can get a really good charm, or if Zytag get a really good thresh hook, I don't see them really catching out Freeze at the moment. We've commended him for his amazing positioning so far in this tournament. He's not likely to be caught out of the blue from something so common, if you like, of just mispositioning. But we are going to see a bit of a push in this mid lane.
There is an undercommitment here. This should force some kind of response here.
Kikis needs to be careful. He had no idea who was over that bush.
They're all converging.
Yep, the aggro throw at the lantern. He will get away. Power of Evil grouping up. Kikis is still very squishy. He's got half items. He's got a bit of magic resist, a little bit of armor, a little bit of health, but he's not going to survive against the percentage HP damage of Cogma if he's just hit one after the other. He needs to be a little bit more careful of how he goes into fights, and maybe it was a little bit of a trade back to I'm So Fresh, saying you can jump into me in level 1, I can jump into you now.
Well, building more damage right now on Kikis does make a certain amount of sense, because they need to try and assassinate Cogmore. Jarvan is one of the few tank junglers that can legitimately be a late-game assassination threat. The problem is, of course, you are very squishy until you've gotten some tank items, so he's kind of going for this half-and-half approach. Assuming he can assassinate Cog, could work for them. Starry in the bot lane. He's not going to be able to push around Smitty. Not one iota of difference made to Smitty, and Astari will get chipped down.
Yeah, Astari is nowhere near where he needs to be right now. He's a death capper too. So do try and go to the mid lane. See a bit of a push now. Kikis needs to be careful. He's sticking here now. Actually good. Cabochar goes in. He tries to go over the kiss. He does get caught up though by the charm. The hook does not land. They are going to lose this turret. Ninjas in Pajamas, we criticize their objective control, but honestly, they're kind of snowballing the kills. We do see Astari. He's going to try and get away from Smitty J. Twisted Advance already used. Astari needs to be careful, though. He is in a dangerous enough position. He's going to back away, though.
Should get the dragon here for an IP. That's good from them. That push was well timed. Forces SK Prime back into their base, so they get the tower and they get the dragon.
And the first significant gold lead.
Yeah, this is looking very, very good for them, because up until now they've been getting the kill advantage, but SK Prime has been clinging on and clinging on and clinging on. Again, by superior objective control, they've been taking towers, but now they're starting to fall behind. They're losing out dragons, they're losing out on towers. This threat on the Baron is actually it's a risky move, but I think it's actually probably the correct one here. If you clear the Baron area, it gives you that option, and the more doubt there is in a scenario, the weaker Cogmore is, because he cannot afford to go into any area where there's even a chance someone is trying to flank him from, which restricts how aggressive he can be and gives your split pushers A little bit more time to deal with the Kassadin. Or to potentially get a flank. If they can catch Kog'Maw, that could work for them very well. Once Kog'Maw's dead, of course, SK Prime's composition works very, very well. From that point on, Ninjas in Pyjamas just do not have the damage to take down anyone shielded by Malcolm. Yeah. So
it's gonna be very difficult though, as we said, to catch out the Kog'Maw unless they make amazing outplay or Kog'Maw or Freeze, I should say, just gets completely stupid out of nowhere. He has got the red buff though, so he's got a lot more kiting potential. Maokai has been left in this bot lane to farm up, but in that sense, like, he's been left to farm up. Cabochard's not falling behind. Yes, he's about 10 or 12 CS behind, but Kassadin has been let, catch up as well. He's nowhere near as far behind in CS as he was. Still about 40 though. Has got that kill and 4 assists that are doing it rather nicely. Pretty much even in the mid lane in terms of gold. A little bit of an advantage. Mainly the bot lane though that we do see more and more coming out. So Fresh has got that Banshee's Veil. That Banshee's Veil is actually pretty damn big.
Ooh, careful there, Jarvan. Remember, Kassadin is one of the best chasers in the game. Kikis did get the knock up on his way out, though.
Oh, no, here we go. They're going to see if they can catch him out. Freeze, they're going to catch him out. They're going to go back up in the top lane, though. They're trying to see if they can keep him in. They're going to see if they can get him. Kikis going to go down. No, it's actually going to be Freeze, the first one to go down. They're trying to stick with Freeze, though, or Kikis in the top lane. Paraviva taking low. It's going to be a kill. No, it's not. Stari's going to back away. He does not want to overcommit to this. He's going to back away, as we do see everyone else coming in from the side. Ari trying to cut him off as well. He's going to be able to maybe get away from this. Ari is not going to be able to get onto him. He's going to be able to get away. Nicely done there by him, but good catch there onto Freeze by SK Prime. They noticed that he was all by himself, as it was an overcommitment to try and catch out Maokai.
Zaitan!
Ooh, flash hook, not quite catching anybody.
This is their one opportunity. They need to do something right now in order to increase their advantage. Gaining control over the Baron Pit is maybe the only thing they can actually do, but actually starting it, I really understand this call. SmittyJ can tank it quite safely. They can just keep forcing this Baron, try and catch someone out who looks to contest it. And without Freeze, NIP really does fall apart. Their composition has very, very low sustained damage.
Freeze is up though. They may have delayed this just long enough, as we do see Astari going in. SmittyJ being cut up. Cabochard going to jump in as well. He's trying to keep Ari in the pit. They're trying to jump onto Astari. They're not going to get. Power of Evil is in a very it's an amazingly sick kick though. Knocks up 4 people. Here comes Freeze.
Is here.
This is clean up duty. Corky goes down. Thresh goes down. They're trying to jump on the Power of Evil as well. Cabochard is going to be able to not get that kill though. He's Astari going to be able to win. Cabochard gets the heal for the McHales as well. They're going to be able to trade this back. Not quite, they'll be able to save Cabochard. Maokai will go down. Kikis is still alive.
He's going to go for it. He's going.
He's going to go in. He gets the kill there. They do trade it though in the end. 4 for 2. 2 even, but that's going to be a dragon. They delayed it long enough for Freeze to come back in. That was huge.
SK Prime were not quite snappy enough on their call.
No,
nice.
There's the ace. They're still able to hit it though. Cataclysm's not going to do enough. Voidal needs to be careful though. He might just back away. It's a full clean ace in the end of it, and a Baron. Freeze picking up a nice few kills for himself there. And that is a huge gold lead now. Amazing play there from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
SK Prime took a couple of key seconds to decide they were going to do the Baron in the first place, and then they took a couple of key seconds to actually look for that engage in the first place. And when Freeze comes in at the end of a fight, with Maokai actually getting quite well into the backline of SK Prime there, even though he wasn't there for a large portion of the battle, it just didn't matter. He was so influential in the cleanup. And Maokai held on for long enough for him to get in the first place. So now SK Prime, they have a long road ahead of them if they want to come back into this. They're going to have to wait out the Baron buff. They're going to have to try and deal with the split push from Kassadin, and they're going to have to somehow win a fight at some point. There is no longer any route out of this game that does not involve team fighting.
No, it's going to be exceptionally difficult for them right now. And everyone on the side of Ninjas in Pyjamas has got some pretty big items. We actually see Ionia boots there for Astari on Kassadin, looking for that cooldown reduction, as well as the Void Staff just picked up there as well. We do see Bounty's Veils into a Randuin's Omen for Lee Sin with I'm So Fresh. We see Cabochard in the top lane looking. I'm not quite sure if he's looking for a Spirit Visage and a Randuin's Omen. Might be going for a Frozen Mallet. Highly doubt it, but he might. You know, it does combo. Probably just picking up the extra health, though, to keep him sustained in these fights. So you see Freeze, and oh my god, he is just able to bully out, but he does get caught out by a card. Don't think Zaitan really wants to go in onto that one, though. We're going to have to wait for the minion wave. Ari nowhere near this, though. She was up top side getting blue. This is going to be a free tower, and nothing really SK Prime can do about it.
No, there is nothing really that they can do. That tower was going to drop pretty much no matter what they did. They can't afford to risk getting engaged on at only an inner tower right now. This dancing is a bad sign.
Oh, I'm so fresh. Are they actually bragging? That's a great play there from Zaitan. They are going to jump on the Freeze. Freeze getting headed forward, though. He's not. Everyone just jumped in straight away to protect Freeze. They are going to jump, try and re-engage this. Power of Evil tries to get low. Astari gets absolutely blown up, though. They're trying to jump on the Ziz. They get him now. Smitty J has not got his ultimate running. He's going to be taken down. It's a triple kill. Could it be the Quadra? They're going to keep going a little bit. No, it's not going to be enough. They do trade it in the end. 3 for 2. Freeze. Great kiting there from Ninjas in Pajamas, but it's an inhibitor turret, and this is looking even worse for SK Prime.
The peel is just too strong. They can't get to Freeze through Alistair, through Lee Sin, and I've got to call out I'm So Fresh's kicks here. They've been really sublime in terms of not only knocking back the target diving Freeze, but knocking up several other people trying to dive him.
Oh, there it is. It's a delayed Quadra, realistically. Will he go for the Penta? He might just do it.
Oh god, that was dicey.
That was very, very close. Freeze needs to be careful not to overdo it. So we see Kickus trying to catch up onto them. Not very likely that he will, but Freeze is huge. 12, 3, and 7, 288 CS on him as well. They're going to be able to get the blue buff. Nice Q there from I'm So Fresh there. Didn't quite hit anything. They're going to be able to steal the red buff. Oh, hey. Will they? Oh, here we go. It's a great block, though. He's going to go all the way. Power of Evil. Here comes the Cabochard teleport. They are going to be able to take top lane turret to the minions, though. They might be able to keep going. This Zuz is going to get away. Spirit Rush away. Kickus is in a very tough situation, though. He's the flag and drag. Cabochard goes in. He's going to absolutely decimate Zuz. He's going to be able to do it. One more combo. Twisted Advance, though, is going to stop him. Cabochard's in a bad position now. He's lost his ultimate. He cannot keep going for this. Going to dodge the charm. Going to be able to back away.
Stay.
No, they should back away. They are sitting on quite a bit of gold.
Yeah, that was just an unnecessary risk there from Cabot. I mean, going for the initial combo to kind of ward off SK Prime was fine. He stuck around maybe looking for a bit too long. At this point, it shouldn't matter, and it didn't matter. But NIP should basically just go back and then look to win the game because they are so strong right now. Freeze is also going to be much harder to flank and to burst out if they are sieging a tower. So Nip, they're looking to close this out now. Can they do it? I think they should. It's
10,000 gold lead.
Big gold lead, big scaling lead. They've got the split pushing advantage. They've got the sieging advantage. They've got the team fighting advantage. SK Prime are in a desperate situation. I've still got to say, though, are Nip the better team here? Have they played this better? Or was it just a pick and ban thing where Nip recognized their goal? They recognize they need Freeze on Cogmore. They need him to do very, very well and to carry them. Is he going to be too much to ask if they get into the match against H2K? Are they going to be able to beat them with this strategy? Or will H2K just ban Cogmore, ban Lucian, and sit back and relax?
It's going to be so hard for SK Prime. They honestly, the only thing I can see that I can get them is if Zaitan, knowing that the Cogmore flash is down from that last engagement, gets a good hook into a charm, into a twist. They just have to absolutely blow him up.
Look at that position.
Wow, Smitty J, the tank, has a frozen heart and Ninja Tabai.
Yeah.
He is not squishy by any stretch of the word.
Probably take about 12 or 13 auto attacks to take down Smitty, which is not a lot, considering Maokai. So,
as well as that last Whisper as well. Like, he doesn't even need an IE right now. Cogmore is just so big. He's going with the Quicksilver Sash. He's going towards the Mercurial or the Mercurial Scimitar.
If they get a hook on him now, it doesn't even achieve that much. Quicksilver Sash, get out. Mikhail's, get out.
Peel.
And even if they do, that may actually only be their own death sentence because Cabochard will dive. They're trying to dive on Freeze. That puts them into a situation where Pulverize is going to be huge. And diving is free.
Here we go. It's actually a great bubble there as well. They're going to be able to kill off Jarvan and Corky straight away. It's going to be Camelchard who's just sliding in. It's going to be a double kill there as well. Starry was in the middle there. Spinny J going to be able to take out him. It's going to be Constellation though. Spinny J getting absolutely melted at the moment. He's going to go down to Lee Sin. It's going to be another 4 for 1. Starry the only one to go down. It's going to be game. The minions are already taking the base. They're going to try and jump with the Power of Evil. Here they go. They're going to be able to get the slow. It's going to be another one. Cogwell pick up another KDA for himself. The inhibitor respawns. It's going to delay them slightly, but it's not going to. It's changed the result. As we see more and more minions flooding into the base. Great play there by Ninjas in Pajamas. They got the picks. They got the kills. At the end of the day, they get the win.
Really nice stuff. So Freeze.
Unexpected.
Freeze. Yeah, this is not the result I was expecting. I will level with you on that front. I was expecting SK Prime to win this through their mid-game, through their objective control. And they showed signs of why I came to that conclusion in the first place, because they did have very good objective control, but Freeze got so strong just from the laning phase. And then SK Prime just didn't have the dive. They could not. I mean, I don't think it's possible to construct a team that had the dive to get through Alistar, through Lee Sin, through all these characters and kill Kog'Maw at the end of it. And in the late game, the front line, Cabochard and Istari was actually very, very strong as well. So just once they failed to take the advantages in the mid game, they failed to take the game. There was realistically no way they could come back.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Kikis could have done a lot more. I think he was very much lackluster, and he didn't really go for many ganks. He was more kind of security when, you know, bot lane went a bit aggro and he kind of arrived just to be there. Yeah. He didn't really do a lot apart from some global pressure, which, to be honest with you, was Power of Evil. Power of Evil was barreling down that mid lane. Power of Evil made the first call, was the first person to rotate towards Dragon. He was the one to make all these calls, and I imagine that, you know, obviously being the player that he is and very, very skilled mechanically as well, he was kind of getting them good trade backs for the kills they were losing in the top lane, but they just didn't shut down Kog'Maw even slightly, and the amount of peel that they had for Kog'Maw, even in that last team fight down there at the bottom lane to the inhibitor turret, Jarvan jumped in. He had nothing to do with it. There was another amazingly sync kicks from I'm So Fresh, hitting 3 or 4 people every single time. They just snowballed it, and it was just Freeze's positioning, Freeze just getting too big on Kog'Maw. At the end of the day, they honestly come up with a little bit of a surprise win, and they go through to the final to face H2K.
That is an upset in my mind. Freeze ending the game 15-3-8, and it's telling that by the end of the game, Freeze was positioning himself when they were looking for a fight towards the upper inner tower. He was a good headbutt length away from the front line of his team, ahead of them, looking for damage. But he knew if they tried to turn on him, even if they caught him, quick stuff sash out, you've got Cabochard, that'll enable your engage. So he was in such a commanding position by the end of the game. They won it very, very easily. And so NIP will be at least second place. They will be moving on to the grand finals to face off against H2K Gaming, which will be in, I believe, about an hour and a half. The match is scheduled to begin, 12 p.m. CET scheduled. Not necessarily the actuality, although I suspect it won't be nearly as delayed as some of our games have, unfortunately, been. So, an hour and 20 in theory.
Yep. Well, the schedule does say to be decided, but we already know the decided. It will be Ninjas in Pajamas. It is a best of 3. Despite Ninjas in Pajamas coming out so strong in this game, I would favor H2K in this matchup.
I still favor H2K as well.
I still very much favor H2K. And they do start 1-0 up because they made it through all the way
in the winners
bracket. So they have got that advantage. Effectively,
it's another best of 1 if H2K win.
Exactly. It's another best of 1 if H2K wins. So Ninjas Pajamas have to win 3 games now in a row, just to, including the SK Prime game.
Yeah, okay.
I can see you looking at me. But they have to win that to keep this momentum going. And honestly, if I was H2K, ban Lucian, ban Kog'Maw, you're in a very good position.
Yeah. Pick away Nami, probably.
As well, yes.
We will see, of course, if they have anything else up their sleeve. H2K versus NIP is the next game. But we do have an hour and 20-minute wait. So if you do feel like filling that time with some things, feel free to sign up for FACEIT, which is going to be which is already actually a service which will enable you to match yourself up with teams and players of a similar skill level, play in leagues, and win prizes of various values. Not necessarily dependent on your skill, I'm not actually sure about that, but certainly do check that service out. I believe it also runs other games other than League, but certainly will enable you to very easily match up there. So, otherwise check out Overwolf, nice bit of software, and TeamSpeak, which I use myself on a very regular basis, and it is very, very handy. But guys, check those out. We'll see you when we get back in about an hour and 20 minutes.